exorcist evil spirits and entities, it's time to get our horror on. Welcome to your weekly dose of horror news and fun. This is episode 15 of Terrorvision Horror Podcast. I'm your host, Dan McGuinness, and joining me as always is my co-host, Jennifer, the Dream Warrior Strand. Together, we are two people with a love of horror and feel the burn of our obsolete Blockbuster memberships. You can watch us weekly on all major podcasting services and on YouTube. But what we really want to know is, Jennifer, how has your week been?
Oh, you got to stop asking me that. I have no life. It's never interesting.
I'm going to ask you every week, so...
I know, because it's polite. I should just start making shit up. Pretty good. Very busy, as always. I pretty much very excited. Shudder has finally come to Australia.
What is Shudder?
So Shudder is a streaming service dedicated to horror movies and horror TV.
Really?
They do a lot of so they do a lot of original content and just have a lot of just dedication to horror. Hasn't been available in Australia. They just did a soft launch, which means you can't get the app, but you can watch stuff on your laptop. So
it's not an app, as in I can't watch it on Apple TV or PlayStation or anything like that yet, or smart TV. It's just on computer
yet. Yeah, it's just a soft launch at this stage, but the rest will come. So it was a little bit frustrating because, I just really want to sit down on the couch and watch it on the telly, but I'm like hunched over my desk in the dark listening to everything and watching everything on headphones, which isn't too bad.
A flaccid launch.
Yes. So I caught up. The first thing I did was I watched the Cursed Films series. So about 5 episodes, and they run through all these films that have curses. So you Poltergeist, your Omens, The Crow, that kind of thing. All the negative and weird shit that happened on the sets. So yeah, aside from that, finally got around to cataloguing my vinyl collection, which was a feet and a half.
Did you do it like in high fidelity? Do you remember that? When he always goes through his vinyl collection and redoes it, and like how are you cataloguing it this time? And he's like, he catalogues it in a time of when he bought it.
Okay.
So he's like, I have to remember that on like this year of this month when I was going out with this girl was the time she broke my heart and I went out and bought this record. Like chronologically or something like that. Like, it's like
no, I just got the app from Discogs and I sat and scanned the barcode of everything, and so that way when I go to the record shop, I'm not like buying multiples of one vinyl because I'm like, did I?
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've just been doing a bit of TV this week. Apart from I played Dungeons and Dragons on Saturday, with through Hack the Dino with the Hack the Dino team. Unfortunately, halfway through, I got explosive diarrhea and we had to stop.
Oh no!
I must have eaten something really weird or something. And
that's my fear.
I had to run out, but it was that real bad sickness, like where you get really weak and shaky.
Yeah.
And so and then I just went to bed at 2 p.m. and just slept until the next day, and it went away.
Were you sick? No, it's just you'd eaten something.
I just reckon I ate something bad. I had eaten the worst combination of food throughout the day. Like me being, I've got a really strict diet. People don't know I'm like pre-diabetic, and so I can only eat certain things. And that day I just dropped it. I ate half a block of cheese in one go.
Oh, God.
Because I was like, people came around and I wasn't ready, so I was like, I better eat something. And then Ben brought around some food, and he bought like cheese and bacon rolls, and I was like, I just have a nibble of one. 3 rolls later, I'm not sitting there going, oh. And then I had a whole 1.25 litre bottle of soft drink to myself, and that's all I ate.
Oh my God, Dan. No. That's giving me diarrhea.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
Give you diarrhea just listening to it?
Oh, it does. Yeah, because I can't eat anything with dairy. I shouldn't have anything with gluten. And so just hearing this just gives me super anxiety and a stomachache.
We're a bloody mess, aren't we?
I know, right?
I also started watching Doom Patrol.
Yep.
As in, based on the, like that. Have you seen that show?
I haven't. What's it streaming on?
I don't know.
Okay.
Let me have a look. I can have a look. Because I've got all the streaming, so I don't really notice stuff like that. Because I've got Smart TV, which logs everything in. I'll work it out later.
Yes.
But, yeah, Doom Patrol, like, crazy. Do you know of the Doom Patrol, what they are?
I know of it slightly, but I know Brandon Fraser's in it, which is cool.
Yeah. So basically, the Doom Patrol is a DC superhero team. They're not really superheroes, but they're the people that get called in when shit doesn't make sense. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's created by Grant Morrison, who in his most vivid acid-taking and mushroom-taking years, he created the Doom Patrol. And,
Sure.
All right, I'm not going to spoil it, but like in the first couple of episodes, their enemy is the narrator of the TV show. They fight the narrator who can do anything because they're just narrating, and he goes back and creates like flashbacks and then narrates them differently, so their future is different and shit.
Is this similar to the episode of Futurama where the brain comes and the only way to outsmart the brain is to trap it in a book, and a book that he's writing himself?
Kinda. It's just like it's the problems that don't make sense, like in the DC universe. So, like when you're reading a Grant Morrison comic, you have to consider yourself as being how you affect the narrative as the reader reading it and stuff like that. And, you know, all that just ridiculous, like, you know, wizard thought and shit like that. Because he actually thinks he's a wizard as well, Grant Morrison. He's a certified wizard. And so does Alan Moore think that, but they both don't think that each other are wizards and they hate each other.
Oh, I love that.
I know.
That brings me joy.
But yeah, so this stuff is like outside the box, like, You can't even imagine like how ridiculous this goes, but it makes sense. And like they talk about, because it's in the DC universe, so they talk about the Justice League and Batman and stuff like that. But they're just a bunch of weirdos. Like it's very good. Watch it. Like seriously, watch it. It's on the level of Umbrella Academy.
Okay, I'm putting it on the list because I'm looking for something.
Oh, definitely watch it, and then we can wax about that forever. And then the other thing that's quickly I want to mention is I watched the Evil Dead 2 documentary called Swallowed Souls, and that was awesome. I mean, I finished watching it from last week. So I watched it in two.
Did you watch it last week?
Yeah, I watched it in two. And then I started watching Doco of the Dead, which is like the documentary about zombie movies, and it goes through, you know, all through from like, you know, early Romero to early like voodoo zombie and everything, you know, everything. And then it's got like Bruce Campbell in it, it's got Simon Pegg in it, it's got Romero in it, it's got, you know, everyone's in it, like this doco. It's kind of cool if you like zombies, which I don't that much, but I enjoy watching stuff about filmmaking.
Well, I did say because I watched the documentary the other day, Nightmares in Red, White and Blue.
Ooh.
It was on, I can't remember what streaming service it was on now. I've got it on DVD somewhere from when I was doing uni. But it's like horror, the history of horror in America, and how it's sort of with each decade and generation, there's sort of how it's all relative to the politics and stuff. So it's super interesting, and then it just talks about a lot of really great films as well. So if you like it, check that one out.
Yeah, I've really gotten into docos recently, especially horror docos. And every time you watch one, you see how they do it. You feel like you can create a film. Do you get that?
Yes,
yeah,
like I feel slightly motivated to do a film, and then I watch One Cut of the Dead, and I'm like, I'm not going to do a film.
Yeah, we'll get into that. So let's just move on. So now we've changed up the style of the show. We don't have our own movies anymore. We just have our homework section now, which we work out at the end of the show. We've already worked out what we're going to watch next week, which we will announce at the end of the show, so you guys can watch with us. And I think that will work better if everyone knows what we're watching throughout the week, just in case some of those super fans want to watch them with us and hear and think about how wrong we are in our opinions, which I often get in other podcasts. And so let's just move.
I love opinions.
Yeah, exactly. Opinionados. Let's move straight on to homework. So every week, Jennifer and I set ourselves 3 horror movies to watch as homework, and then we review it together the following week. So this week, number 1, we watched One Cut of the Dead. Now, I'd never heard of this, and this is your pick, Jen. So, which was from 2017 by Shinichirô Ueda.
Yes.
Oh, did I say it right? Shinichirô. Shinichirô. Yeah, Ueda. So the Japanese film. So did you want to take it away with the traditional letterbox synopsis?
Yes. The tagline, "Don't stop shooting," which is actually the translation in Japanese to what it's actually called, which is really good.
So it's not called One Cut of the Dead?
No.
Okay, that makes sense. Yep.
It is in
we'll get into
the rest
that.
of it. Anyway. Okay. So things go badly for a hack director and a film crew shooting a low-budget zombie movie in an abandoned Second World War Japanese facility. They are attacked by real zombies.
Yeah, I really like the guy, how he's like what do they call him there? Like a hack director.
He's a hack director.
And he's like, when he's like, yeah, like he makes his like living, like his like things are, his motto is like cheap, fast, and average. and he mainly focuses on making karaoke videos, you know, those terrible movies. Yeah. So
I want that on a business card.
So straight away, this film opens up. It looks pretty bad, in my opinion, when I was watching it, and I actually didn't know if I was going to get through this film. It's just a badly made, like you're watching this terrible zombie film with these like bad actors, like, you know, the zombies are walking off going, ooh, you know, and you're watching it for a while and you're like, oh my God, what the fuck is this shit? And then suddenly there's like a cut, and there's a director comes in. So you're like, oh, I'm watching a film of the making a zombie film. And and then you're like, all right, cool. And then you're like, yeah, it's still shit. And I had weird, and I've written here, actually, my notes are really strange. So my notes have got chronological notes of me watching the film. So I've got all these weird kind of criticisms of the film. But as it goes down, I work out that these criticisms are in there for a reason, these parts. So there's weird cuts. There's bits where the actors kind of stop talking for a while, or they'll just, you know, they'll have no dialogue to say, and they'll look around for a while, and I'm like, weird kind of vibe. Like, kind of, I get where they're going, but they're not. There's bits in the background where you can see dudes that are just sitting, where they're not even part of the story. The film... Right, it looked like it was clearly shot on video, and it had like a film look on it. And I was watching it, and it's going on, and all this bad kind of shit's happening. But what makes it unique is that it is one cut, one take, the whole film.
Yes.
So they had to set up all this shit. You can tell that they're running around buildings and stuff, and you know the directors within the story, the director's going crazy, and yeah. Jen.
So the first 37 minutes of this film was shot in one take, and it took 2 days and 6 takes for the cast and crew to get the perfect one.
I actually read that before I watched it, and I kept thinking about that, going like, fuck, doing this like 6 times? Like, because it's 37 minutes or whatever, like, and there's there's no, in the one take, there is no CG help. Like, they don't cut it and like merge in or anything like that. There's no, you know, when blood goes on the lens, they just wipe it off, like, and shit like that.
Yeah, which was really cool. And that was an actual effect that they did. It wasn't something that was done in like the post. It was done then and there on screen. They were filming it. Someone was wiping it off the camera. It was hilarious. So it starts off really well with this, like, you know, the standard slow zombie, and he's like, oh, and the girl's like, oh God, what's happening? And he's like, oh. And then all of a sudden he bites her, and it's just as if he's crunching on some chips. He's just like, crump, 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 and she's there, and she's meant to be playing dead, and then she just blinks. And you just realize, oh my God, okay, so we're watching a really shitty homemade zombie film. I'm all in.
I was in, but I wasn't as well. I was like, what? The first thing is, for the first like 20 minutes, I was like, why is everyone telling me to watch this film? Why is no one's reviewed this badly? Like, this is shit. No. And then it got to like suddenly 37 minutes in, and suddenly the credits fucking roll. And I'm like, what? What's going on? Like, the film is over, and then it cuts to a month earlier, which it turns into a real film with real editing and real cameras, and it's the story of the month prior getting ready to create this film that we have just watched. So when you think about this film, you have you watching a film. You have a person in it making a film of a film, and within that film, it's a person making a film of a zombie film. And I'm like, oh, shit. And I've gotten my notes here. Oh, wow. It's getting better.
Oh, yeah.
And
so you basically, like, the first 37 minutes of the film, you've watched the film that you were about to watch them make. So you've watched the film, you know what the film is, you know what's happening. Then it jumps into the lead up to this point, and holy fucking shit.
But like,
it's hilarious.
So he gets employed by a cable company which is releasing a new horror channel, and their shtick is what they want to do is a zombie channel or some shit. And they want to do a one-take zombie film, and it's going to be shown live. So you can't do, you can't, and that's the story within the film. So you have to plan everything down to a T. And he's just a hack director with a shit team. Like, one's an alcoholic, one's like a fucking pretentious dickhead, and and just
the other one's like a pop star.
Yeah, one's like the pretentious dickhead. He's like a pop star. Did you know that him and the other girl in it, that is actually, he was playing himself. He's a real actor.
Really?
Yeah. When it cuts into the bit of real life they're making, all those actors are real actors playing themselves with their real names. I looked that up. I thought that was kind of cool.
I didn't quite look that up.
And so this dude who's like his family, he can't pull his family together. So you get this cool backstory of everyone in the film. It's really cool. He's got like a daughter who works in the film industry, but she's so passionate about her craft that she keeps on getting kicked off of roles and off the set because she's so about the film and compromise nothing kind of thing. But yeah, she ends up putting the film, and then but then you see them make the film. And then you realize, like, everything goes to shit in this film as he's filming it. So you're seeing the back end of the film. Dudes aren't making their marks and stuff. So every bit that the first time I was watching it, that you saw them going like, ooh, like, what are they doing? You see them, that the reason they stopped talking is someone was supposed to walk in then, and they don't walk in. And there's a dude there holding a sign up going, stall. And so they start, stalling and stuff like that. And it makes that first 37 minutes so magically good. Like, knowing what's happening in the background and how much of a shit show it is. And it shows you how hard films are. And I loved that. And
one of the things about this film. So this film is like now becoming one of the, like, any zombie movie must-watch list. This film is somewhere in the very top of watching this film. And then everyone I not so much associate with, but anyone that I follow in the film industry, they talk that this film is the most accurate representation of making a film.
Yep.
So they get that, like, I love this because it's such a well done zombie film, but I also love it because this is exactly the pain I suffer when I make films. I love that.
And so many good bits. Like the bit where I was talking before, there's a guy just sitting in the background doing nothing. It's because someone gave him, he's intolerant to some liquid, and the cast, one of the crew accidentally gave him this water, and he's sitting there trying to hold a shit in because he's about to have diarrhea, and he tries to leave the shot in the film, and he's like, "You're not going anywhere, you're staying." No, I have to leave, and you realise
I gotta go.
He's just, and then there's like a shot later of him just like doing diarrhea everywhere, and I was like, shitting.
That's my nightmare.
And all the weird scenes that seemed arty, they were only arty because they just were just winging it, and just the bit where she's hiding in the tunnel and you see those legs walk up and then walk away like she's dodged a zombie. Yeah. There's a dude there a sign going, pick up the axe outside, because they lost their axe and shit. And I'm like, oh my God, it's fucking amazing. So good. And I kept thinking, how cool. Oh, that's cool. Oh, I love seeing that. And I was just like, yeah. I can see why people bleed fucking so much about this film. It's so good.
Yeah, like there's this one point where one of the actors, he's a huge alcoholic, and he's like, "Oh, I don't drink on set. And then he just gets super nervous, so he just gets absolutely rip-roaringly drunk, and they're trying to sort of, compensate with the fact that he's really, really drunk by getting him to do stuff. And you're watching, the director is actually like holding him up Weekend at Bernie's style. And the poor guy that gets spat on, because in the beginning I'm like, why is he spitting?
Yeah, he's vomiting. Like the zombies vomit on. He's vomiting. He's
vomiting because he's drunk as shit.
Yeah, and I thought that was really cool that the zombies vomit on you at first, and I'm like, oh yeah, cool.
I'm like, what's happening? Why?
And then if you want to get even more meta, I hate to use that word, but the end credits of the film is them actually shooting the shot. So you see how they really did it, which is a bit different, obviously. Yep. So you get the biggest insight into this. It's so crazy. So
it's a film within a film within a film within a film.
I mean, I mean, we've spoiled it now, but like, it's not really a spoiler because you get to see how they do it. You know what I mean? It's not about the story of this film. It doesn't matter. As in the first 30 minutes, you're just like, you're done. Like, you know what's going to happen in some of it.
Yeah.
It's weird.
There was like some really great moments with like the actress who replaced the makeup lady. So she was the wife of the director, and she was basically like wouldn't act because she gets too into her characters.
Yeah, she Jared Leto's it.
Oh my god, she's talking to her daughter. She's like, "Oh, do you not have any hobbies?" She's like, "Oh, I'm trying self-defense." And she starts like, boom. and so when they're trying to like stall for time and the actor's like, "Oh, so do you have any hobbies?" And then she's just like, "Oh, it's not a hobby, but I do self-defense."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, show me." And she's just like, does this thing, he wraps his arms around her. She just basically lifts her arms and she's like, boom, and somehow gets out of it.
Yeah, the pom word. They keep going on about the pom word's really important. Pom!
As she gets super duper into this role and she just becomes absolutely like crazy in this role, everyone tries to stop her, and every second it's like, boop! And she just like slips out of it, keeps going. Someone else tries to grab her.
Because it has that really weird bit where she just comes back to life for a second in the original film. And like, why did that happen? And then you realise it's because she was really unconscious and she woke up. So
he had to like choke her out because she just wouldn't listen. She was just too into it.
Oh yeah, it was such a fun romp. Like seriously, you see here the film cost $25,000 to make and made $25 million.
Yeah. Yep.
That's basically $25 million for free.
Yeah,
they got for that film, like
it. And a lot of people, I think, the actors, because it was most of the people that were in the film were actors finalizing their studies, so they ended up paying to be in the film, not being paid to be in the film. So they would have just come away with so much experience and a lot of open doors, I'm guessing, because holy shit, this film is great.
I like the bit where there's one of the girls was like, when I was watching the original part of it, which I didn't know was a film of a film of a film, there's a bit where the zombies are chasing it and like the camera is zooming in and out and I was like, oh my God, that's so cheesy and horrible. And then later on she comes in and goes, how about we zoom in and out? And they're like, no, that's cheesy and horrible. And then she takes over and does it and then someone else is watching it. They're like, oh, how cheesy. That's amazing. And I was like, this is such a good film. But
like everything about it was so much fun. I don't think there was any point where I was sort of sitting there going, "What the fuck is going on? I hate this."
No, the first bit I did hate because I thought it was going to be an hour and a half of just that.
Yeah, if it was an hour and a half of that, I would have had a problem. But
yeah, exactly.
No, it just
that's what I was worried about. But yeah, I would definitely rewatch this at some stage.
Yeah, I think I was meant to watch it with Liz, but she was busy playing video games, so I think she's really going to get into it. I also kind of want to show my mum this. I think she'd really dig it.
Yeah, I want to show the guys on Millennial Movie Talk, the other movie podcast that you guys should check out if you just want to hear about just normal films, not just check out Millennial Movie Talk. They're friends of the show. I've been on there. Very good. So yeah, I want to show them because they're all film students and stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
All right.
I think they'd love this. Everyone should watch this film. For those of you who are looking for it, it's on Shudder. So sign up, get your free 7-day trial, and just check it out.
How much is Shudder? I forgot to ask that.
I think it's like $7 a month.
And what's the caliber of films? Have they got stuff like Evil Dead on there, or is it more just like all those like?
No, there's heaps
Tubi ones.
Hey, those Tubi ones are the best.
They're not.
No, there's heaps of stuff on there. There's a lot of original content. They've got a lot of foreign films as well. Some 80s, just a lot of everything. Hellraiser, all the Halloweens, Maniac Cop,
lots
Tourist.
Cool.
A lot of slashics, as they call them. So yeah, it's worth it, I think.
A lot of those films aren't on any streaming service, I noticed. Like when you go to horror on Netflix and that, you get like just all the Netflix horrors, which are like those crystal clear, carbon copies, too crisp kind of horrors. Or you get like a one every now and then. You get like a Hereditary or something like that. But you don't have that like 1980s catalog, which is where
Yeah.
probably all your and my favorite films were created, like that 1980s, 80 to
I think
90.
I'm not sure if they're really good with the a lot of the 80s. I'm not sure if their catalog is still growing. Because I know Amazon's got a lot. And then there's of course HBO Max that has just started up as well, and they've got their own like stack of horror films. There's too many streaming services. I need one consolidated streaming service. Just stop.
All right, so let's move on to our second film of our homework assignment, which was Maximum Overdrive, 1986 by Stephen King, written by Stephen King, directed by Stephen King. What the fuck, Stephen King?
I think we need to like edit that. Directed by cocaine-fueled Stephen King.
Oh yes, he was very cocaine-fueled. All right, you want to do the synopsis?
Yes, Stephen King's masterpiece of terror, directed by the master himself.
That's the tagline of the film. Do you know what's funny about this film? Like, not in the there's a couple of posters of this film, and one of the posters is a whole bunch of trucks on the front with like puppet strings on them, with Stephen King being the puppet master. And I'm like, oh my god,
know.
oh my god! When the director is on the cover of the film, you know you're in trouble.
Well, they're really trying to sell it.
They weren't they? 'Cause they realized they had a hot fucking mess on their hands. Anyhow,
my god!
What's the synopsis?
When a comet passes close to the Earth, machines all over the world come alive and go on homicidal rampages. A group of people at a desolate truck stop are held hostage by a gang of homicidal 18-wheelers. The frightened people set out to defeat the killer machines or be killed by them.
So yeah, straight away, the first time I was watching this film, I'm like, okay, machines are coming alive. Fine.
Yeah.
But every machine that came alive did shit it can't do. Like,
yes.
So like, I don't care if your electric knife comes alive. It can't move. It can't walk along the floor and shit. Like that. So that was number one.
It can vibrate along the floor. Like, you put something that's running and it vibrates along the thing. That's about it. It can't jump and attack you.
The best part of this film was in the first 30 seconds. Is when
fuck you.
Yeah, there's a building, like a Wall Street building with like the stock market on it, and it just suddenly starts reading the stock market is fuck you. And I thought, and then the second best bit of this film is most of the music is done by AC/DC.
Oh my god!
And it's just like, who made you? And I'm like, what's going on? Oh man! But it could have been saved. The main star is Emilio Estevez, but he couldn't save it.
No one could save this. Let me just clarify. I didn't hate this film. Like, if I had a bunch of people come over for movies and beer and pizza, I'd be like, let's watch Maximum Overdrive. Because it's a group of people taking the piss out of it kind of movie.
Halfway through, it just lingered on. There was just a bit so it's basically a whole film with them just trapped in this truck station.
And don't get me wrong. This film is like an hour and a half too long.
And there was no reason why they couldn't leave. Do you know what I mean? Like, the trucks were going around them, but they were slow, and they showed a whole bunch of times you could just run around them. There was no, and that happened in this whole film. Every time there was a situation, you just but you could just walk away or get away. It happened so much. And the fact is, they had a rocket launcher, which seemed to have endless rockets, and they didn't use it till near the end, and then they just overused it. And I'm like, why didn't you guys just shoot the trucks before instead of staying there for days? And then the trucks tell them in bloody Morse code that they need to be filled up with petrol. And if they don't do it, we'll shoot you with this machine gun truck thing.
Yes. There's a machine gun
and
truck.
They do it, and there's a montage of them working really hard. I did that in inverted commas, by the way. You can't see that. It's so hard to put petrol in that they're fainting because they have to put petrol in for so long, and it's the hardest thing in the world, and they're sweating, and I'm like, they have to go and lay down because they're putting petrol in cars. I'm like, isn't that your job?
Yeah. Well, they work at a fucking truck stop. That is your job.
Yeah. It seemed like all the lines were ad-libbed at the start.
For sure. There's that one, the waitress, and she's just going outside and just screaming things. just randomly. It's like, what is this? This has got nothing to do with anything.
There's a bit where Emilio Estevez and another character like sneak away from the trucks and they go in this tunnel and out and to something to save this guy. And it's like they're looking into this tunnel. It's like a storm drain. They're looking down the torches and they're like, how deep do you reckon it is? Emilio Estevez just goes, fucked if I know. I'm like, such a weird line. Like yells it out. And I'm like, yeah, that's a bit weird. Like that seemed like So it's got Yeardley Smith in it. How do you say her name?
Is it Yardley?
Yardley Smith, the voice of Lisa Simpson, who I looked up.
Yeah.
And is so she gets, I didn't know this, she gets $300,000 an episode of The Simpsons, and her net worth is $55 million now. And
oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, and she's like actively embarrassed by this film. If you ask her about this film, she is completely embarrassed by it.
Well, you should be.
For good reason. She was absolutely garbage in this film.
Yeah, she plays like an annoying wife.
Fucking annoying. I was just like, no, I wouldn't say that. I just let her die. Just let her die.
Yeah. So
he was annoying.
The whole film is just there's that Stephen King. Apparently he was coked out of his mind. He can't.
Yes.
He's embarrassed. He's embarrassed by this film. So when people ask him like, why haven't you directed another film since Maximum Overdrive? His response is, just watch Maximum Overdrive, and then you'll know why.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, there are a few really good moments. So, like the bit where at the very beginning, where the bridge raises up and all the cars are like smashing into each other. Like this scene where this woman just basically goes straight through the front windshield. I'm like, that's fucking sick.
And there's a couple of really good shots of corpses bodies getting run over by trucks and stuff. The blood's way too.
They got run over by the
steamroller.
Steamroller. I'm like, yes, more of that, please.
Yeah, the kids' storyline was probably the best. This is this kid who's like kind of like going through the neighborhood when it's all coming out, and there's like lawnmowers after him, and however a lawnmower can the lawnmower, when you look at that lawnmower that's chasing him, the wheels aren't even on the ground. It's like it's got a motor underneath it driving it along, and I'm like, come on guys, at least put the wheels on the ground so it looks real.
I really like that he was being stalked by the ice cream truck.
Yeah, that was cool. And then it comes at the end, and then they just shoot it with rockets, and it's dead.
Sure, that's right. The coach getting soda machined, that was pretty fucking hilarious as well.
And that kills kids. There's lots of kids killing in this film.
I know. You imagine being the person on set who's like, okay, my job today, I got to pelt a bunch of cans at kids. Let's do it.
The soda machine, yeah. They just find a way. And then at the end, the trucks just basically drive through the place, which I just thought straight away, why didn't they do that? Because they get like a bulldozer to come and just hit the building a little bit, and I'm like, that thing could just go through the whole building. Why don't they just knock the building down and then the people have to run out?
Pretty much. And
why do the trucks want to kill people?
Well, I mean, this, like I say, there are so many plot holes in this film, it's Swiss cheese.
Oh, yeah.
So at one point, is the building listening to them? Because the trucks are outside communicating with the people on the inside using Morse code with the horns, but somehow they're controlling the electricity. So is the building is listening to them? Also, I don't know if you noticed, but there was a lot of heavy breathing and growling.
No.
So the machine gun thing was heavy breathing and growling.
Okay.
Yeah. That was the thing that was happening, and I'm like, why is this happening?
The machine gun thing, which is what we're talking about, isn't even a real thing. I'm pretty sure. It's just like
it's not a turret.
It's just a little. It's like a little set. It's like a little car. Imagine like a golf buggy without the top on it, with just a stick coming out with an M60 machine gun on top. And I'm like, when is that ever used?
Yes, never.
And
never
how can it turn by itself and do shit? It just didn't make any sense. No. I mean, lots of horrors don't make sense, but this was just like tomfoolery. This was idiocy.
It is. I'd like to discuss, because they use the Happy Toys truck. So the famous Green Goblin truck is used so much in the marketing of this film. Now, I'd never watched this film before, so I assumed that this truck would be in a hell of a lot more than it was. It really wasn't in it that much.
No.
Also, it's a Happy Toys truck. Why the fuck have they painted it black?
Because it's happy. Because it's a goth happiness. Yeah, and then there's just no threat in this film. Every bit that at every point they're in a situation, they could have just walked or ran away. But they made it as if they were really trapped, like they couldn't get away. And I'm like, no, you can't. Like, that's not true.
But I mean, so the trucks were alive, but the cars were not.
Yeah, or some cars were.
So why some cars and not the other cars? Like, these are the questions that I have. Stephen King, I have questions.
Yeah. I mean, like, it just didn't make, like I said, it didn't make sense. There's like that weird, like, there's a Milo Estevez and there's a girl in it as well. Just suddenly they have a sex scene. And then straight away after the sex scene, which was like out of the blue, they're just a close up of them just like eating this like cream bun. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why is this scene here? Why is anything?
I have questions. You guys just met like less than 12 hours ago, and you guys are already fucking. You got some choices to make.
Yeah,
assess your life
in like an apocalypse. Like, you haven't even like got your shit together. But as I said, like. They've got a rocket launcher with endless rockets. Why didn't they just shoot the trucks and leave?
Well, there was a whole arson thing downstairs. It was just full of guns and shit like that.
And that was the other thing. They had guns. They kept shooting things and it would hurt them. Like they shot the machine gun to kill it.
Yes. There's nothing about this film that makes sense. But I'm kind of okay with it. I don't know why I'm kind of okay with it. Like, it wasn't a great film. I gave it like 2 stars.
I accidentally gave it 3 and I tried to change it.
I did see when you gave it 3 and I'm like, you hated this film.
I didn't hate it. I understand that it's cheesy. I understand that it's stupid. I like its lineage. I like the idea that Stephen King made it. He was on coke. I like the idea it got made. I like the idea that it's got a big truck in it with a face. Everything about it is funny. Like,
yeah.
Like, it'll make a great video game. Like, I can't believe they haven't done a Maximum Overdrive video game. They probably have. And I just don't know that it exists. But, like...
I mean, look into it.
Yeah. Or, there you go, video game people. There's your idea. I don't know what you do in it. You just, like... You just sidestep out the way of trucks and then fuck a girl that you've met.
Done. You came number 1. You came first. It's all good.
Yep. Milo Estevez. I'm sure everyone in this film is pretty embarrassed. Stephen King's embarrassed by it. He's just like, oh shit, what have I done? But I understand why people like this movie, because part of horror, as we've mentioned before, is finding that love in films that normal people who don't like horror would just hate. And that's what we've got. We have that ability to somehow go back to a time and a place that we watched the film in, a feeling, a lifestyle, and we get that from these films. So when people say to me, I love Maximum Overdrive, I don't say, oh, you shouldn't because it's shit. I go, okay, he's probably got some, bit of history with this film, probably saw it when he was a little kid. As a little tiny kid, I probably would have loved this film because it's got violence.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, but what is it? I mean, I liked Munchies when I was a kid, and obviously I should be, put against a wall and shot for that shit.
I mean, look, back then it's fine. Now you know better.
That's true. All right, let's move on to our third film for this week, which was, I had high hopes for this film.
You did.
Lord of Illusions, 1995, directed and written by Clive Barker. I think it's written by Clive. Yeah, it would have been. Clive Barker, me mate. Is it directed by Clive Barker?
Yes, it's directed by Clive Barker.
Yeah, right. Once again, a novelist getting to direct and film. Probably not your best idea. But it was okay. So did you want to read the synoppo?
Oh, yeah. Trust nothing except your fear. During a routine case in LA, New York private investigator Harry Demure stumbles over members of a fanatic cult who are preparing for the resurrection of their leader Nyx, a powerful magician who was killed 13 years earlier.
Now, I got us to watch this because I'm reading the latest Hellraiser novel, and Harry Demure, however you say his name, is the main character, which I kind of like that idea. So I think one of our... Adam Gillespie, one of our friends of the show on Facebook, said, like, if you have Hellraiser and then Lord of Illusions and they make the Scarlet Gospels, which is the Hellraiser book I'm reading, that's a pretty good trilogy that all merge together into themselves.
Mm.
But now was the main guy the guy from Quantum Leap?
Yeah. That what was his name?
Scott Bakula?
Oh yeah,
Bakula?
Scott Bakula. He's from Quantum Leap. I don't foresee him as being a leading man kind of man.
You don't think? He's got a chisel. He's got a jaw, though.
He does. He's Dirk Squarejaw, but I don't know. I don't see him as like he did work. I mean, not that I've ever watched Quantum Leap, but he does sort of seem like that very TV sort of sci-fi kind of lead actor, not someone who is a leading man in a movie.
Leading man.
I
kind of liked him, but I was expecting more from reading, you know. Is this based on a novel? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. I thought you were reading it. That's why we're
No. I'm reading Clive Barker's new novel, which has him as the main character, but I don't know if he's. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to look at Lords of Illusion was ever a Lou.
So there's a character in it called Swan, and it took me about 35 minutes, 40 minutes, too long to just figure out where I had seen him before.
Oh, what was he in?
Why? He plays Benny in The Mummy.
Oh, right.
So he's the guy where he's like, oh, look like we're on the right side of the river. And he's like, looks like we've got all the horses. Just that really creepy guy in The Mummy. He is Swan. And he's still creepy in this as well.
So, Lord of Illusions, the film, is based on a short story in Clive Barker's Books of the Blood in Volume 6, which I've never read the 6th volume, called The Last Illusion. So it's just based on like a little story. So that's it. That's probably why it didn't pan out to be the best film. But that's okay. So anyhow. What did you like about this? It was okay. It was fine. It did seem like I was sick home from school watching a day film though.
Yes, that's exactly what it was.
You know what I mean?
This was another film that I thought went on too long. Like there was so many points in it that I was kind of just like looking at my watch and okay, what's this? Okay, come on. Like it wasn't bad, but I wouldn't watch it again.
Well, I was like sitting there in the opening going, this weirdly seems familiar. Have I seen this before? And I watched it probably like 3/4 of the way through going, have I seen this before? I
love when that happens.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
did you figure it out? Had you seen it?
I don't know. I think I had, but once ages ago, but I just forgot about it. Like,
there are so many films like that. I love when that happens, though.
I love
that the bad guy was Kruger from Seinfeld.
Nix.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought I recognized him. I was like,
I know. I saw
a whole bunch of people in here.
Who is this guy?
The main girl was the actress Jean Grey in the X-Men.
Oh my god, yeah. I hard crush on Famke Janssen.
Was she in the Faculty as well?
She was in the Faculty, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people from the Faculty were in this.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
Because it was okay. I really enjoyed when they got at the start I thought the best bit of the film was when they bind him and they put these metal, which was very Clive Barker, these metal bits on his face and they screw them into the side of his head, and I was just like, this is sick, this is cool. I just like that idea. They can't kill him, so they just bind him in like basically a steel mask. I'm sure that it has a name like an Iron Maiden or something like that, or a chastity belt for the face. Face chastity.
Yeah, that was that was really cool. Everything like that. That was because they buried him in the middle of the desert as well. So
yeah, and that was nice. I did notice that we got to add to our Wang Watch 2020.
There was. They cut to LA, so there's sexy LA saxophone. Then straight after, leading straight into that, there were some titties, and then soon after that, Wang. I'm like, Wang Watch 2020.
I know, just a dude just for no reason is completely stark naked, full frontal nudity, and I was like, Jen like that. She gets her Wang shot, her dose of Wang for the month.
I'm going to count it out. By the end of the year, I'm going to be like, I watched this many films with wangs in it.
Yeah.
How great.
They have a bit in it where there's like this magical, this room where all the magicians in the world's secrets are in it. And
Yes.
and there's all this crap in there. And I was just so looking for the puzzle box from Hellraiser to be in it. Like, I can't believe they didn't put it in there. Just in the back.
No, I'm very surprised by that.
Because, it's a Clive Barker, it's made and directed and written by Clive Barker, as if one of the puzzle boxes wouldn't be in a room that has all the magical, tricks and illusions and magic in it, in the world, in it. I'm like, oh, come on, guys.
That's true. I did like the holographic demon that was in the magic room. That was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool.
I really like the look of that.
There's some really good effects of like when Nix can get into your head. He puts his fingers into the side of your head, and what you see, he sends you mad. And what you see, like when you see people, that effect looked crazy good. I was like, that's awesome. It involved a bit of morphing, and involved a bit of like practical effects, a bit of computer effect, and just mushing it all together. And it just it involved like. Yeah, it was just a good effect, like people kind of like peeling open and stuff like that.
It was 1995 this film was made, so they used a lot of CGI, but it was all really bad computer. Sort of everything was just a bit shapely and meh.
It did have some cool bits though, like the bit where like the binding was good, and the bit when they first introduced Nix and he's on that weird floating nest thing.
Yeah, that was cool.
Like, and now I'm like, oh yeah. And that at the start, I think that had a really strong opening, kind of like you didn't know who anyone was or what was going on. But I was like, oh yeah, if this keeps up this, I'll be happy with that. But it kind of just lost everything after that. And then it was just a bunch of scared people trying to avoid that guy for the whole film, basically. And that's all it was. And then they I can't even remember how they beat him. I'm not even going to bother thinking about it.
That's fair. I see your notes that you had that the main guy looked like a JoJo's character, and I had to laugh out loud because I know of JoJo's. I've never watched it, but I was just like, yeah, he totally was.
Yeah, so this isn't Nix. This is like his secondary guy who's part of his cult, because it's got a cult connotations, which is also cool, but they didn't really go with that enough. I didn't mind the cult of like the people who kneel on the broken glass and cut their hair off and stuff. I thought it was kind of cool. But like it was there for no reason.
Pretty much, all the ladies scalped themselves, and the guys were just like, "Oh, just take a little bit off the sides. It's fine."
Yeah. But yeah, so the main guy who's kind of like trying to resurrect this Nix guy, this bad guy, he just looks like a character from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. He's like very flamboyant. Did he wear a male crop top?
No, he didn't. But his shirt and his pants were very, very tight.
He wore like gold leggings at one stage, I reckon.
Yeah.
And
that was a bit.
You can't go
off-putting.
wrong. He looked very JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Like he would do those weird, like kind of body contorted poses like they did. He was just very camp. But I liked him.
The whole film was very homoerotic. Like there was a lot of homoerotic undertones in this film.
Well, there always are in Clive Barker's films because he is a gay man, and I suppose when he writes sex scenes, he write what you know. And stuff like
that's true.
Because I noticed, like, through all Clive Barker's sex scenes that he's had in all his, like, novels and stuff like that, if they're, like, heterosexual ones, they're always, like, the worst time to have sex. Like, they're always, like, we're covered in blood, we've got dry dirt, or, like, in our wounds and stuff like that, and then they decide to have sex. Or they get masturbated by, like, conjuring up beetles to masturbate their penises and stuff like that, or there's a monster that makes you, like, watch your friend die while he wanks off to watching that and stuff like that. Like, I'm like, yeah, not very sexy. Which I'm fine with because I don't like sex scenes in movies or novels or anything. I don't watch films to watch sex. I don't want to. If I want to watch sex, I'll watch myself in the mirror. Like, I just don't think, or pornography, I don't think it's like a thing I want to watch in films, but that's me. I can't stand watching people kiss either, so I'm a real, like, my wife thinks it's hilarious. I'll look away, like, when there's someone kissing on screen. Like,
so you're like a 12-year-old.
Yeah, we'll know when people look away when someone gets an injection or something like that, like they can't stand the sight of blood. I do that to kissing. People kissing.
Oh my God.
I can't handle it. It's gross.
Fair enough.
People shouldn't kiss.
That's strange. But that's everybody. We're all different.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
That's fine.
Butthole bullet is one of your notes.
Yeah, so like the very end, they I mean, look, spoiler alert, it came out in 95. You've seen it or you haven't. They shoot him in the head. So where he was shot originally 13 years ago, they shoot him in the head and it's just like puckering. It just looks like a butthole is just sucking in and then just all of a sudden gushing with blood.
My last note.
Like I giggled.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I thought that was a bit erotic, like it was a butthole. But then again, I watched Naked Lunch last night as well, and so.
Oh my god! Yeah. Okay.
That I actually watched a Naked Lunch explained afterwards because I've watched it so many times and I love it so much. And like, oh my god, like when you hear someone explain that film, I'm just like, what everything represents, like Interzone and everything represents a part. It's basically, it's just William H. Burroughs' life. Do you know every lot of stuff in that So that was him. He went through all that stuff.
Yeah.
In real life, he did. Can you remember how he kills his wife in it by shooting her in the head, like trying to shoot a glass off of her head?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did that in real life. That's real.
Oh my god.
Her name was the same name as the girl in the movie as well. Like it's an interpretation of what he remembers from that time. And like Interzone was like a representation of, his of something or other. The typewriters represented his unconscious. Like, and when you know all that and you rewatch it, it's like, holy shit, you're a genius. And then you get Cronenberg to do it. Yeah. And they work together really well. And like, they just like created this, like, in my opinion, it's a masterpiece. It's a crazy masterpiece that works on so many levels but it's basically all about him admitting about being a homosexual. Like, that's what the whole thing is. And like,
I have vague recollections of that film. I just remember like going to university we were having a screening for one of my uni classes and I rocked up like, I was a little bit under the influence of something and I just sat there having a horrible time and I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? I need to leave.
Oh yeah,
this is
man.
Not okay. I'm going to go home now. I can't move. Holy shit, someone save me.
Holy shit, I can't move.
And I haven't seen it since. Yeah,
because it has those two really because we can't really talk about it on this show. It's not really a horror film. It's got some elements of horror, but yeah. It's got like he tells two stories in the film. Like there's the first one about the person that the hemorrhoids get stuck in the car and it pulls the guts out of the person. And the second and the second one is about the guy whose arsehole can start talking, but then it takes over him, which represents like, at first he has fun with his ass and playing with his ass, but eventually it takes over his life and it destroys him, and it's his like guilt of like becoming a homosexual, like these stories represent. And the first one, and it's just like fuck, crazy.
That's crazy.
I mean, they're all still all theories, if you know what I mean, because like it is what it is. But yeah. Anyhow, my last note on this film. Sorry, I digressed.
That's fine.
My note is I had high hopes, but I was disappointed. And your last note is meh.
Well, like I say, like I just kept looking at my watch the whole way through, and I'm kind of like, this movie is dragging on so long. It just needed to end, and just when I thought it was gonna end, it just kept going.
Yeah, it had a very Stephen King feel to it. I felt like the group of people that have fought this thing and have to come together at the end and fight it again. A lifetime later, like very It.
Yeah.
Or a lot of other Stephen King films the same, like very similar, or anything by like Joe Hill, like his son is very similar as well. Yeah. Anyhow, so all up, it's okay. So all up, so far our reviews for our films are Cut of the Undead, amazing. Cut of the Dead, sorry. Maximum Overdrive, it's hot trash. It's basically Kesha. And then you got Lord of Illusions, which is just like we said, it's there, it exists, but you're probably not going to talk to it at a party. You just realize it.
No,
that movie's there. You're not going to chat to it. It's fine. You wish it was better. I really wish it was better, especially because like the character, like Harry Demore, like could have been more magical. He should have been more, because his character is basically Constantine. You know what I mean? Like he is this gnarled magician, destined for hell, Like, you know, he knows all the tricks. He has tattoos all over him his tattoos kind of react when there's certain demons around and shit and stuff like that. So he knows when there's danger coming and stuff like that. They showed the tattoo on his back. Did you really? They showed that a couple of times.
Yeah, I was like, that's not real. That's really bad.
But it never came up, and they never
no.
But yeah.
But Scott Bakula, he had done research into, he was researching into his role, and the tattoo was put on his back after he'd done all this research. But they don't explain, well, what conclusion did you come to there, Bakula? What does it mean? Why?
Well, it might have been in the film, but they might have cut it out or something like
Quite
that.
Possibly.
But I thought Damore's character, he was kind of unnecessary.
Yeah.
Those other characters kind of did it all anyway. They got it.
He was just there.
They were magicians themselves. Like that other dude, yeah, it was okay. Someone had to shoot him in the face. Who shot him?
It's true.
Yeah. Anyhow,
he shot him in the face. Yeah.
Let's move on to horror news. Each week, me and Jen take you through the horror news you need to know about. Welcome to horror news. That was a werehorse.
A werehorse.
So,
I love it.
What are our horror newses?
So it looks like Robert Englund is going to be. He's just announced that he's got a signature coffee brew coming. Of
course, he has.
Which is sort of super counterproductive to his alter ego, young Freddy Krueger, who just does not want you to drink coffee because he wants you to go to sleep.
Well, I've seen a couple of these articles about this, actually, with different taglines. So, Freddy wouldn't approve is the article of this one, which is from Dread Central. Freddy wouldn't approve. Robert Englund announces signature coffee brew. I've seen one that says, never sleep again. Robert Englund needs you to stay up. And I'm like, well, that works.
I like that.
Freddy wouldn't like it, but I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people that have their own signature coffee or chili or this or that or the other. I think it's a nice little shtick.
What is the coffee brand called? Dead Sled.
Dead Sled.
Dead Sled
coffee.
So he is kind of like coattailing on the Nightmare on Elm Street kind of stuff.
I think so.
For his coffee brand.
I like their logo. They've got a really cool bat logo. I like that. I
haven't seen that bat logo.
It's pretty cool. So they've just over the last few months, they've been secretly working on a new coffee project. So now he's been able to launch it, and I like the Twitter post that he did. He's just looks like the folks at Dead Sled Coffee are going to let me have my own signature brew. Maybe a pinch of Bryce, a bit of Bella, a vial of Vampira. Nah, gonna make it my own. Strong enough to keep you awake. Stay tuned. I like that.
Okay, so Dead Sled Coffee is an existing brand, and he is just coming in and he's doing a batch or whatever under his name. So. Which is a good idea. I
think so.
I mean, we're over on Hack the Dino. Ben, who we do that with, Ben, he has his own coffee brand.
That's cool. I don't even know how one would do their own coffee brand.
Well, he's a coffee roaster, so he's got all the machines, and he roasts his own coffee, gets the beans in, and he doesn't sell to the public, he sells exclusively to cafes and stuff like that. And he goes through tons of it every how often. His coffee's really good. It's called Black Market Coffee. So if you see Black Market on in a cafe, it means it's really good coffee. He's really good at what he does. I'm really impressed with his coffee all the time.
I would be interested to learn how to do that.
Well, I think you need gigantic drying machines.
Have that.
And I think coffee beans are really are they hard to get or whatever? I don't know.
I don't know. This whole it's very entrepreneurial, and I have interest, but never any follow through. So kudos to everyone who does this kind of thing.
You could probably make your own brand of coffee pretty easily, because I think for people like him, he can roast the coffee for you, and then you brand it with your branding.
Interesting.
I think I don't. We were thinking about doing Greenlight coffee for a while, like my comic shop.
Yes, that would be amazing.
Greenlight grains, what are they called? Beans. Green beans.
Beans.
Green beans. I think green beans is
like
bad because green is a bad coffee. And it doesn't matter.
Anyway.
Now, I like this idea. I mean, if I ever get the
Yeah.
opportunity and if it's got horror branding, if it's got something kind of like that, I'll be all over it. And I love coffee. Like, I friggin' love coffee. When I gave up heavy drinking, I replaced it with coffee. Getting into coffee, like, you know. I mean, I'm not really good at coffee, though. Like, I have a couple. If I have, like, 3... I get so jittery and gross and feel like I sweat more and I'm oily and like
I love it.
A gross heap. Do you like coffee?
I love coffee. Yeah, I have a few too many throughout the day, and depends on my level of stress. So I think I replaced coffee with smoking for a while there, and yeah, so much coffee.
I always feel that it's a better thing. It's a better vice. Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
A better vice than like drinking, smoking, drugs. Well, they're all drugs, but you know, shit drugs.
Yep.
Like coffee. If you're going to choose one and you choose coffee, and I have long black coffees, I don't even have milk in it. I don't have sugar in it. So it's just basically just super water, really.
Super water. See, there you go.
I was going to call my coffee super water. Super hot water. But yeah. Robert Englund. I wonder when they're going to do another. When's that Freddy watch? What's happening with Freddy watch? Nightmare watch.
I think it's a bit. I think it's fallen asleep.
Oh dear. Needs some of his coffee. Englund.
Need some coffee.
England. Get your coffee into the Nightmare franchise now. Bloody turkey.
Now. Right now. Now. Cool.
I don't think there's anywhere else we can go with that one.
No, that's it.
That's fair enough.
It's awesome.
What's our second story?
Okay, so everyone might have seen this one because this is all over the fucking internet. And so you can stay overnight in the last remaining Blockbuster via Airbnb for $4 a night. And the internet is lording this over all of us Australians who do not live in America and cannot go to and experience this.
The last Blockbuster.
This is fucking cool. If you've got Twitter, there is a Twitter account called The Last Blockbuster, and it's fucking hilarious. I highly recommend following if you have the tweeters.
Is the place, because there's a picture here of, or there wasn't one of the articles I read, and it had a place called, like the actual shop was called The Last Blockbuster. Is that this place?
I think it is.
And they've taken the last bit off of it, so it's more legit.
But they take the piss out of Blockbuster and customers, and it's fucking hilarious.
You know what's weird? Is this real? Like, can you sleep? Can you sleep here? Because there's like, it's just got the glass out the front, so people could just see you.
I'm sure there's like a spot at the back. So it's like it's out the back. They can't see you. They've like turned the storeroom into into this little Airbnb. It looks really cool. Like it looks very funky. Yeah, it's all like blocked off, so you can't see. No one can see you.
Yeah, they can. You can see them in the window from the outside picture. You can see the Blockbuster logo, which is the one that shows like, and then a fold-out bed. But there's VHSs there. It's covered in you get all the videos, you get rain, looks like all the snacks are there. Or the bit is like a hotel, you know, with what you take.
Yeah. Dostitos.
And it was $4 a night. Or was it $4 a night at the start, their introductory offer or something like that?
No, it's $4 a night, free cancellation until 24 hours before check-in. So $4 a night equals about $5.58 Australian dollars a night. So that's pretty freaking cool.
Doesn't seem right. Why wouldn't they charge like $50 a night? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that it's either going to go really, really well or really, really bad.
But they won't be able to pay electricity bills for that. Unless it's all.
I don't know.
It looks great. What would you do? So can you go in with people? Obviously, have like a movie night. But they've set it up for people who haven't seen it. They set half the Blockbuster is normal, and half of it is set up like a 90s lounge room with all like the dodgy, you know, like sponge painted shit, you know, that to make it look like marble and stuff like that, like very 90s grossness. It's got a lot of 80s vibe actually to it as well. It's got an 80s bedspread with the old what used to be on the contacts, you know, for your books, the pattern.
Yeah.
The lollies look like they're just normal nerds and Wonka and stuff like that. It's got like an old hi-fi system, like old school with VHSs and stuff like that. It's got beanbags. It looks great. It looks like a fun night. Like, I'd be stoked to do it. It'd just be like, basically though, we kind of can do this. We're lucky enough to live in Adelaide, right next to bloody Starblaze Collectibles. So,
You could go do it now.
Yeah, well, I have done it heaps of times. I just hung out there on which is basically a video shop exactly like this. You put movies on, you put VHSs on, you hang out, you drink beers, you have fun. Great place for anyone who is a collector in Adelaide of VHSs and stuff like that. Starblaze Collectibles, look it up. It's I think it's appointment only, or Thursdays or Saturdays or something like that is the only days that they're open. They're that niche that they only open very hardly ever. But if you do get in there, it's sick. It's basically this in Adelaide. You've been there, haven't you, Jen?
I have. It's great. I love it.
It's very us. But yeah, cool. I would definitely stay here, and I would watch The Monster Squad. What would you watch?
I'd probably watch Scream.
Really? That's your go-to?
Yep.
I suppose that does encapsulate Blockbuster a fair lot, doesn't it? Where to me, like, Monster Squad is more like earlier focus video and stuff like that, which is what I had when I was growing up. I don't know if that was just my local one or if that was a franchise. Let's look it up.
Focus Video was a franchise.
You remember it? Because it had TV.
I do remember.
It had TV ads like Focus Video, great home entertainment. There doesn't seem to be. I suppose what am I doing? You write Focus Video into Google. It's obviously going to be about how to use your video camera and focus. But yeah, I don't think I've got much more to say about that one either.
It's pretty basic. Like, this was a bit of a slow week this week for some news, but yeah, I just thought this would probably be a nice little thing to touch on, have a little say, have a little opinion. Of course, we have posted both of these on the Facebook page, so if you want to have your opinion, jump over and comment.
What about this news article, which I just found on iHorror, which is the Godzilla Museum allows you to zipline into a kaiju's mouth.
Oh, how fucking cool is that? Yes, I'm so excited.
Have you seen this picture?
I have, and I'm really bummed out that I can't go to Japan. We were meant to go to Japan this year, and it's not going to happen anytime soon.
No. I love
how... just wear your fucking mask so I can go zipline into Godzilla's mouth.
I love every time there's like a theme park in Japan, like Evangelion World or any of those kind of things, you get like the themed foods that are hilarious. Like, yeah. So there's always curries. They always find a way to make a curry. Like, they've got here. So they've got like a bun. Are you looking at this? I'll bring this up. I'll put this in the notes, Jen, so you can bring this up. See that link? Mm-hmm. So if you go down, they've got like, so Godzilla in Shin Godzilla when he's like that half form and he's that weird thing. Yeah. I love it. They've got like a hot dog that represents that, and they've got sticky eyes. Obviously. And then they've got like, I don't even know what this other one is. It's like a cake with strawberries in it, like a cream puff, there's eyes, and I guess that's supposed to be Godzilla's face. And then they've got a whole bunch of different like curries. So they've got like the Mothra one, which has like what are they called? Nans as its wings. They've got like the bird one, which has actual chicken wings coming out the side of it. Like, yeah,
it's not Ghidorah. The first one's Ghidorah. This is Rodan. I think it's some Rodan action.
Rodan gosh.
Looks great. I want to go to there.
Yeah, and like so the cool thing with like all these things, like the Evangelion World one's amazing as well. Like there's so much stupid shit in there. Like, there's like the elevator from Evangelion that you stand in with the characters, the one that has that real famous scene that just goes for like 3 minutes and shit like that. And you go and there's like a full-size Ava head and an attack happens and all this shit. It's great fun. And you can see here they've got the same with like Godzilla's here, like the costumes. I assume they might be the real costumes as well, or some of them at least. Like standing over like the miniature cities and stuff like that. So, but
it's really cool.
The zip line is crazy.
I know, like that's just like next level. Japan are just on a whole other level, and I love it.
But I would definitely go there. I went to one of them called Alcatraz,
Okay.
So they have heaps of theme restaurants, and if you ever get the opportunity to go to a theme restaurant in Japan, go to them. Any of them, all of them.
Sure.
It's like that real famous one, like the robot restaurant. You've heard of that? Like,
Yes.
yeah.
Yep.
But we went to one called Alcatraz, which is a horror themed one, and it's
Oh.
wicked. So you're walking, and there's like glass floors with corpses underneath it, and it's set up like Alcatraz, like the jail or some shit. And like, so you've got the cells though only go up to about probably my chest height, like to my nipples height, like your room. So you have to duck into them. They're like bars on them, and you have to kind of crawl to your table, and then you sit without with chairs anyway in Japan, that vibe. But then there's also top story ones. You have to climb up. If you're in the top bit, you have to climb up like an iron ladder and then get into this little cage. And because it's so hard to like do anything, if you want the staff to come over, you have an iron bar that you rattle the cage up and down the bars.
That's so cool.
And then all the food was like Claire got a drink, which was like it came in a severed human head, and he drank it out the brain and stuff, and like,
oh my lord,
and just shit like that. It was amazing. But then we went like on like the 25th or whatever anniversary of Evangelion. So like halfway through the night, it just went pitch dark. And then the Evangelion music started up. And then all the staff just started dancing in the aisles to Evangelion. I'm like, what's going on? This is like there was no relevance to any of the theme at all.
I've heard that bloody theme song so many times, and I've never watched the show.
Oh, you turkey.
Like,
But theater restaurants in Japan, like theme restaurants, are so fun. Like, and they go all out. You know what I mean? Like,
well, there's a Godzilla hotel as well that you can stay in.
Yeah,
so it's like this huge. Of course, the fucking Osti stays.
Yeah, apparently it's like $600 a night.
No.
Yeah, and he
That's
stayed.
a no.
He stayed in the Godzilla room. Like Osti is the King Kaiju collectibles guy who like sells a lot of this kaiju stuff at our shop. So at Greenlight Comics, so you can come down and check his crap
Buy
out.
some kaiju stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, of course he stayed there. Well, that was his dream, and like apparently you can't get it right. It's actually not even a hotel. It's one room.
Oh.
So it's like in the Godzilla hotel. You know, one with the Godzilla on it. You can see. Yeah, it's one room. It's the Godzilla suite, and he got it. Yeah, and it's got everything in there. Crazy, like collectibles that he just blew his mind over, like behind glass and shit in the room.
I can imagine.
But yeah, that's wicked.
Yeah, he would have lost his shit.
He would have loved it, the little turkey man. All right. So that is good. I really want to. I mean, I'd love to go back to Japan. I that's the one thing I'm missing with this whole coronavirus thing is that there is no ability to go to Japan. Not that I probably would go to Japan again. Yeah. Like recently, but the idea that I can't, even if I want to. Like aches me. What if there's something I want to what if I see something I'm like, oh man, I really need to go to that. I really need this hot dog that looks like semi-formed Godzilla.
I need it.
Can you put that up?
I need it in and around my mouth. I will put that up.
Just put that up on our Facebook. Anyhow, let's work out. So this is obviously a different format. We might be running a bit shorter than usual. We're just trying some new stuff out, which is fine. We've still gone for like an hour and 20. Fine. So, as you know, we've decided that we're going to do 3 movies for homework a week, and we're going to announce them. So what we're going to do from now on is each week we take turns in choosing the 3 movies. And so this week I'm going to choose, and next week Jen will choose. So this week I have chosen to watch this week. I just wanted some stuff I just wanted to watch.
That's fair.
I wanted to watch Evil Dead 2. And I wanted to watch that because after watching the doco on it, I just felt like it was worth a rewatch. Mm-hmm. You've obviously seen that before, haven't you, Jen?
Yes.
I wanted to watch Under the Skin, which is the what's her name? Scarlett Johansson. Is that what her name is?
Yes. Yes.
Film. Have you seen that?
I haven't.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. So
it's on the list. It's always on the list.
And this is the way, because I've also found with a lot of these. Like personally for me, when you review a film that I really want to watch, I can't watch it because I have to watch the other film. So I figured this way we're going to get it all, we'll see the films. And,
well, I think it is a good way.
And my last pick is I want the American remake of The Ring.
Sure. Any reason? Just felt like watching it.
I just felt like watching it recently, and I just want to watch it again. I was talking to her about it with someone the other day, and I was like, I like this scene, I like this scene, I like this. I know I'm going to be blasphemous here. I actually think the remake is better than the original.
No, I don't know. That's fair. I think that's the consensus with a lot of people, actually. But
really,
which leads into the discussion, which we can have a discussion about that next week.
Exactly.
Is the remake, whether it's better than what remakes have you seen that are better than the original?
Yeah.
A controversial topic.
The Last Jedi. Nah, that's not true. Okay, so let's move into housekeeping. Jen?
Yeah. Okay, so you have been listening to TerrorVision Horror Podcast.
TerrorVision Horror Pancake?
Podcast with Dan and Jennifer. We are available on all streaming services, so Spotify, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, YouTube, anywhere where good podcasts are. Please leave us a comment, a star rating, a follow, just anything to sort of help us grow. We also have an Instagram. You can follow us at TerrorVision Pod. We have Facebook, we have email, so terrorvisionpod@gmail.com, so you can let us know what you would like us to watch. If you do like something that we've said, if you don't like something that you've said, hate mail, love mail, anything you want to do, just shoot us over an email there.
Just don't put anthrax in there. Wherever you get that from. I wouldn't know. How would you acquire anthrax?
Because
people at one stage that was like the thing that people were doing. They were sending anthrax to people as like a way to.
Oh, my high school had an anthrax scare. We got evacuated, which is stupid because it was like Wollonga High School.
What did they make it out of? Almonds?
I don't know. It was probably just talcum powder, and they didn't smell it. I don't know.
That is true. And if you want to listen to a bit more of me talk about video games, I do a video game podcast over on YouTube called Hack the Dino, and I do that. I'm the co-host with Braden Dixon, Brendan Rosenthal, and Floppy Sturrock. So go over there if you want to hear me talk about a bit of video games and stuff like that. It's a visual thing, so we have we got visuals over there, and we also do a podcast as well, which is the same. Exactly the same thing, but done with no visuals. Oh, what a professional I am. And I think,
love it.
And, until next week, may all your dreams be nightmares.